Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today, I wanted to have a discussion about what Red Like Roses Part 2 teaches us about Ruby Rose, and the importance to this song to her character, considering that this song is her theme, and like many other themes I've talked about in the past, I really wanted to go into this one. But before we get into the video, a couple of important announcements. First off, the RWBY Volume 6 soundtrack has been announced. It is coming out on June 28th. After such a long wait, finally it has been announced when it's coming out. So if you are wanting to get the soundtrack, I just want to let you know what day it is going to be released on. So there is that. Secondly, I have a very huge video planned for tomorrow, and it's a very big one, and there's a lot that I have to discuss because it's very serious, very important, and it does actually concern RWBY. I've been trying to put this video together for a little bit now, and so it's going to be a big one. So expect a longer video tomorrow, and I've got a lot to talk about concerning it. So I just wanted to update all of you on a couple of things. But let me know what song you are excited for in the RWBY Volume 6 soundtrack if you were excited for the soundtrack. But anyways, sit back, relax. I hope you all enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started. So, Red Like Roses Part 2. Now, there's a couple of things I want to say before we get into talking about the lyrics and everything. This, out of all of the RWBY songs, is one of my all-time favorites that Jeff, Casey Lee, that they have even worked on. I think that this song is absolutely brilliant. It is something that really gets you into starting to understand RWBY's character a lot more, but at the same time, not only does the song start to get you to understand RWBY's character more, but it also helps you understand her relationship a bit more with Summer. And this song was a really good one at the time that it came out, and over time, I think it has progressed to continuously be an excellent song. And in my opinion, personally, it stands as one of the top 5 best songs because this song not only is from RWBY's perspective, but it's also from Summer's perspective. And I'm sure many of you already knew that, but it's just a beautiful song, and I really do enjoy the song. But there's a lot the song actually teaches you about RWBY that the series really hasn't done. And I really want to go into these lyrics and maybe help each of you learn more things about RWBY that you didn't know about her character beforehand. So let's start getting into the lyrics. So first off, it starts with these lyrics. I couldn't take it, couldn't stand another minute, couldn't bear another day without you in it. All the joy that I had known for all my life was stripped away from me the minute that you died. Now, what this is talking about is how life itself for RWBY started to bog down. It started to get worse once Summer had died. And that the joy for her, her happiness, seemed to just completely melt away whenever her mother died, which makes a lot of sense, considering this is also kind of starting to tell you how close she actually was to her mother. And I really do like that about these lyrics. But continuing on with the lyrics. To have you in my life was all I ever wanted, but now without you I'm a soul forever haunted. Can't help but feel that I had taken you for granted, no way in hell that I could ever comprehend this. So, it's like whenever you have someone close to you, and in this case, RWBY's mother to her, was that she took the time that she had with her mother for granted. And after Summer's death, she started to really realize how important it actually was. And I guess that's how you could look at life yourself, because you could have, whether it be your own parents, siblings, friends, and then say something happens to them and they die because of some reason. You don't really think about, oh, well, today could be the very last day I have with this person. And you take all that for granted up until the point that they're gone, and then you realize, I did take that time for granted. And then you come to the realization that I wanted this person or these people in my life. They were that important to me. And without you, I feel lost. And that's how RWBY feels here. She feels like she is lost in comparison to how she felt before she lost her mother. And that is huge for her character, considering we do see her be cheerful and happy all the time, but it kind of tells you in a sense that this is kind of her coping for the suffering of what she lost. So let's continue more into these lyrics to understand more of this. I wasn't dreaming when they told me you were gone. I was wide awake and feeling that they had to be wrong. How could you leave me when you swore you would stay? Now I'm trapped inside a nightmare every single effing day. So when RWBY was told this, she was in denial that her mother had died. She didn't see her mother die. So in her mind, she believed that everybody was lying to her, that they were just telling her a lie because she looked up to her mother. She had a strong bond with her mother, And her mother also swore that she would stay with her forever, that she'd always be there. And to a child, that is a very powerful thing to have happen. It's a very terrible thing, and it can hit you like a truck when you were told that your mother, your father, or your siblings, or friends, anyone close to you had died. That will hit you hard, especially when you don't expect it. And it's a very serious thing to happen. And for RWBY, this really affected her. And not only this, but she felt like her mother lied to her because her mother swore she would always be there. And because her mother died, this affected her and made her think that, why would this happen? Why would my mother tell me this? And children look up to their parents. They naturally do look up to their parents, and they really want to believe, and they want to be like their parents. Sometimes their parents are the role models, and in this case, RWBY's role model was Summer. And when you look at it, it does feel like a nightmare when you lose someone that is precious to you, someone that you love, someone that's important to you, someone that's a role model in your life, someone that's always been there. That is such a terrible feeling to lose those people. And I think that lyric of "Now I'm trapped inside a nightmare every single effing day" is one of the best things they could have stated for this type of situation, because it's the perfect thing to really use as the statement, because it does feel like a nightmare and it's a tragedy. And that's how RWBY felt when she lost Summer, and it really tells you about how she felt when she lost her mother. But continuing onward with the lyrics, it's like a movie, but there's not a happy ending. Every scene fades black, and there's no pretending. This little fairy tale doesn't seem to end well. There's a knight in shining armor who will wake you from the spell. The thing about this is, when you think about it, it's like a movie, but there's not a happy ending. When you think about it, some movies do have happy endings. They do sit there and make you think that, oh, wow, this is wonderful. I can't wait to have my happy ending. But RWBY sees it as she didn't get her happy ending, that her mother died and she didn't return. But once the scene fades black, it keeps going. It doesn't stop there. Is that there's no pretending that her mother is gone. Summer is truly gone, and that's what continues to happen. And it's like a fairy tale that Yang had told her all the time growing up, that she would tell her, and this is what encouraged RWBY to want to become a huntress. Well, the big thing about that is, this is not the fairy tale RWBY would expect. The fairy tale she knew always had happy endings, but this one didn't end with a happy ending, and it ended with her mother dying in the end and not returning. And I like how Jeff had used the example of how it was like a movie or a fairy tale, and it didn't have a happy ending to the story. I actually like that, because the reason why is that's what it really feels like when these kind of things happen. You think, where's my happy ending? Whenever you lose someone like that, you think, this is not happy at all. This is a tragedy. This is awful. And for RWBY, that's what it was. And I think that's the best explanation right there as well, to really kind of show us how she felt there. And I think that's interesting. But moving forward, this is supposed to be RWBY talking to Summer. I know you didn't plan this. You tried to do what's right. But in the middle of this madness, I'm the one you left to win this fight. Now, that one's interesting how that one goes there, because when it says, I'm the one you left to win this fight, it makes you wonder if this is more so the present day of how RWBY thinks. Because it seems like after a while, this is RWBY coming into acceptance that her mother did die. And how she goes, I know you didn't plan this, and you tried to do what's right. It seems like she has come to the acceptance of her mother dying, and that she is the one to continue what her mother started. Now, that's very interesting, and it seems like I'm the one you left to win this fight, as I stated before. It seems like this is her in the present time period, as she was going into being a huntress. It seems like she was reflecting on things, on her mother's actions. At least that's how it seems to me. But anyways, continuing on with more of the lyrics. Red like roses fills my head with dreams and finds me, always closer to the emptiness and sadness that has come to take the place of you. Now, this is very important because the roses are supposed to symbolize summer. The red symbolizes something else, which I will get to in just a moment. But it's interesting how this states, to the emptiness and sadness that has come to take the place of you. If you think about those lyrics right there, that tells you that no matter what RWBY does, and this goes for anybody in general, not just RWBY as a character, but this goes for reality as well, is that no matter what, you can never replace the person that you lost. and that the only thing after they're gone that takes the place of them is the emptiness and sadness, a void that nobody else can fill, that that one person could only fill in your life. And that's important, and that's how Ruby feels whenever she lost Summer, is that void will always be there. Now, continuing on to more of the lyrics, this is Summer trying to talk to Ruby. This is her perspective. I know you're broken down by anger and by sadness. You felt I left you in a world that's full of madness. Wish I could talk to you if only for a minute, make you understand the reasons why I did it. I want to tell you that you're all that ever mattered. Want you to know that for eternity I'm shattered. I tried so hard just to protect you, but I failed to, and in a prison of abandonment I have jailed you. So Summer feels like, as a mother, that she had failed Ruby. And she understands why Ruby feels the way that she does, and that she's left her in a world that's crazy. And let's be real, the world itself can be a crazy, bizarre mess sometimes. And that after Summer's death, she wishes that she could still talk to Ruby, even if it was just for a moment, to help her understand things and what she did, and why she died, and what she died for. Also, what's going on to Summer basically trying to tell Ruby that she mattered, that she wants her to know that, and that she will always be upset for what happened because she was doing what she could to protect her family and to protect Ruby, and that she loved her, and that's what she would tell her if she could. And now she feels like because of what she did, she abandoned her own daughter, which hurts Summer. And it's a sad thing to really think about. So continuing on to more of the lyrics. I never planned that I would leave you there alone. I was sure that I would see you when I made it back home. And all the times I swore it would be okay, now I'm nothing but a liar, and you're thrown into the fray. This bedtime story ends with misery ever after. The pages are torn, and there's no final chapter. I didn't have a choice. I did what I had to do. I made a sacrifice, but forced a bigger sacrifice on you. So it's like whenever she states that she forced a bigger sacrifice on Ruby, she feels like Ruby is going to have to inherit what Summer was taking on. That, as Ruby states, that she feels like she's the one who's left to win the fight, and Summer had to push this basically onto Ruby, that what she was doing is now what Ruby will have to do. And that's actually something very interesting there. And she never planned to leave Ruby, and she wants her to know this. This continues more upon what she would tell Ruby if she could. And it's also what she swore to Ruby that she would return, and why Ruby thought, oh, well, you swore to me you would come back, but you didn't. And it hurt Ruby, but at the same time, Summer blames herself, and she feels like she is a liar because she couldn't keep her promise to Ruby. It's very sad when you think about it. But moving on with more of the lyrics. I know you've lived a nightmare. I caused you so much pain. But baby, please don't do what I did. I don't want you to waste your life in vain. So, while Summer understands that Ruby has lived a nightmare ever since she died, the thing is that Summer also believes that her life may have been wasted in vain, and that she doesn't want Ruby to die in vain either. She wants her to live a good and peaceful life. And she continues to go on more about how she's blaming herself, that she thinks that she is something that really did hurt Ruby. And while she did die, yeah, that hurt Ruby, but it's not like she went out there and intentionally meant to die. So it's sad to see Summer actually blame herself for this. But continuing forward, it repeats red like roses, and then after that, you hear a conversation that has to do with Summer and Ruby. So the first one is Summer stating, "You're not the only one who needed me, I thought you understood." Then Ruby goes on to say, "You were the one I needed, and you left me as I always feared you would." And then Summer then goes on to say, "Would I change it if I could?" And then they both say simultaneously, "It doesn't matter how, the petals scatter now, every nightmare just discloses, it's your blood that's red like roses." And then it goes back to Ruby stating, "And no matter what I do, nothing ever takes the place of you." And this is very important here because you can tell that Summer is stating that she is a selfless person because she thought that Ruby would understand that Summer would be someone as a huntress. She believed that she was supposed to be there for everybody, that yes, Ruby was important to her, but she thinks that protecting people is also something that's very important. And at the same time, Ruby had always feared that her mother would leave, more in the sense of she would never return one day, that something could happen to her, that she feared that death could happen, and that Summer would die due to maybe going out and having to fight whatever she was fighting, and that could lead her to her death, and then Ruby would fear that she would never return, in which her fears became a reality. And then Summer goes to say that would she change it if she could? Would she go back if she had the opportunity and change it so that Summer wouldn't die and that she could still be around for Ruby's life. And then it goes on to how it states it doesn't matter how the petals scatter. Now, every nightmare just discloses it's your blood that's red like roses. See, the red in the roses is supposed to be the blood, while the rose itself is supposed to symbolize summer, which is basically symbolizing her death, which is very tragic if you think about it. And then it goes on to where Ruby states that no matter what she does, nothing will ever take the place of Summer. And as I stated before, when someone in your life does die, when someone that was close to you, whether it be family, friends, whatever the case may be, as I've said before, I'm saying it again, to put this in there, that Ruby probably tried to see if something could replace Summer, but nothing ever could. There's nothing that Ruby could ever do that could ever replace her own mother. And that's just how it is with people. You can't replace somebody. And that's the big thing. Somebody can look like somebody can act like somebody you may have known, but they can never replace that person. And that void will always be there. And Ruby started to realize that. And then, of course, it goes back to the Red Like Roses part again, the main part of the theme. And this theme is very sad because it does let you know the sorrow that Ruby had gone through, the tragedy of losing her own mother, and that Ruby herself was a much more complicated character than you may see, because while the series shows her as someone that can be cheerful and very quirky in nature, she's hiding the feelings of losing her mother, and it kind of gives you an idea about Summer, about how she's a selfless character, and how she died, but yet she also regrets how she left Ruby. It's a very sad song, but it's also a very excellent one. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, share this video with your friends if you found this informative or useful, and follow me on Discord. Link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.